Urgent Atlanta Falcons fans. Do not miss this. What just happened? You won't believe this one. But before we reveal the big news, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because here, we bring you daily videos with the latest Atlanta Falcons updates. And to not miss anything, activate the notifications. Hey, Falcons fans, I hope you're ready because today we're diving deep into the latest drama, the rumors, the chances, and what it all means for your beloved Atlanta Falcons. Now, I know many of you have been anxiously waiting, hoping for some blockbuster trade news involving Kirk Cousins, the veteran quarterback who's been a hot topic in NFL circles lately. And honestly, the situation has been a roller coaster. We've all been glued to our screens, wondering if there's a shot, just a glimpse, of Cousins ending up in Atlanta, maybe teaming up with Desmond Ridder or competing for that starting job. But, folks, it looks like the chances are fading fast. You see, the NFL offseason is a complex chessboard, and teams are constantly making moves, weighing options, and sometimes, even turning their backs on their past favorites. And right now, the Minnesota Vikings seem to be closing the door on any reunion with Cousins. It's as if they've made up their minds, and the latest evidence points to a clear message: Kirk Cousins is not part of their future plans. How do we know this? Well, the Vikings have recently given Kirk's jersey number to their new backup quarterback, Sam Howell, who, by the way, was acquired in a move that signals they're looking to go in a different direction. That's a pretty strong indicator that Minnesota is comfortable rolling with J.J. McCarthy as their starting quarterback next season. Now, hold on, because this isn't just about giving a backup quarterback a number. It's about the team signaling their intentions, their confidence in J.J. McCarthy, and their willingness to move forward without Cousins. When the Vikings made the move to bring in Sam Howell, it was pretty much a clear message that a reunion with Kirk Cousins was off the table. Why? Because the Vikings had a chance to bring Cousins back, especially after a somewhat uneven 2024 season, but they chose not to. It's all about cap space, team direction, and their evaluation of what's best for their future. And here's where it gets interesting for Falcons fans. The team in Atlanta had been eyeing the possibility of trading for Cousins, especially considering the uncertainty around Desmond Ridder's development and what kind of quarterback the team really needs to push into playoff contention. But the truth is, the Falcons weren't willing to meet the Vikings' asking price. And honestly, I don't blame them. The Falcons wanted Minnesota to absorb a significant chunk of Cousins' remaining salary, which is no small amount. The Vikings are known for being frugal, and with their current plans, they're probably thinking, let's see what we have with J.J. McCarthy or maybe explore other options in the draft or free agency. From Atlanta's perspective, this is a frustrating but understandable position. They're trying to build a competitive roster, and having to pay a veteran quarterback's hefty salary without a clear path to success isn't ideal. But, at the same time, they need a reliable backup, someone who can step in and keep the offense afloat if Ridder struggles or gets injured. And that's where things get complicated. Many fans have been high on Michael Penix Jr., the Washington quarterback, who's shown flashes of brilliance and has the physical tools to be a franchise guy. But Penix has a history of injuries, and his college career was delayed by some setbacks, so questions remain about whether he can withstand the NFL's physicality over a full season. The Falcons, like many teams, are weighing the risk versus reward. They see potential in Penix, but they also recognize that backup quarterback stability is crucial, especially in a league where injuries happen more often than we'd like. Now, it's worth noting that Kirk Cousins, despite his experience and statistical production, isn't exactly the ideal fallback. His cost remains high, and his struggles in 2024 have raised eyebrows. But, let's be real, when your options are limited, sometimes you have to accept what's available. The Falcons find themselves in a position where they're almost forced to stick with Cousins because the alternatives aren't as appealing or simply aren't on the table. They've already made it clear that their early offseason plan was to keep Cousins on the roster for 2025, and with the Vikings moving on, that plan seems more solid than ever. This entire saga highlights how unpredictable NFL quarterback moves can be. Teams are always trying to find the next big thing, the veteran who can lead them to the playoffs, or the young gun ready to make a splash. But sometimes, the stars just don't align, and you end up sticking with what you have, even if it's not perfect. For Atlanta, that means accepting Cousins for now, even if there are some lingering doubts about his fit and his recent performance. Still, the NFL is all about adapting on the fly, and the Falcons are undoubtedly exploring other avenues, whether that's through the draft, free agency, or maybe some surprise trade that could still happen down the line. But what about the bigger picture? Well, the NFL quarterback landscape is more competitive than ever. The 2024 draft class has already produced some incredible talent, with Caleb Williams and Drake May making headlines as potential franchise quarterbacks. J.J. McCarthy, the Michigan standout, is also generating buzz, but he's still unproven at the NFL level. The Vikings are betting on him, trusting that his talent and college success will translate to the pros. Meanwhile, Sam Howell, the former Washington starter, is the only noteworthy addition at quarterback for Minnesota, which says a lot about their confidence in McCarthy and their willingness to develop him over time. This situation makes the entire quarterback market even more interesting. The Falcons, for example, are watching closely, trying to gauge whether they should invest in a veteran or roll the dice with their draft picks. The fact that Cousins remains in Atlanta for now means the team is probably planning to give Ritter another shot, with Cousins serving as a reliable backup. But the landscape is shifting rapidly, and teams are constantly reevaluating their options. And let's not forget the human element here. Kirk Cousins is a respected veteran, known for his leadership and work ethic. His presence in Atlanta, even if just as a backup, provides stability and experience in the locker room. For young quarterbacks like Ritter, having a guy like Cousins around can be invaluable for development, mentorship, and game day preparation. But at the same time, the NFL is a business, and salary cap considerations, team chemistry, and strategic planning all play crucial roles in these decisions. So, where does this leave the Falcons? Well, it's clear they're in a holding pattern for now. They've shown interest in veteran leadership, but the trade market has been less than cooperative. The Vikings, having moved on from Cousins, are now focused on building around McCarthy and Howell, and that leaves Atlanta with fewer options than they might have hoped. Still, they're keeping their options open, and that's smart. NFL teams are always looking for that hidden gem in the draft or a surprise free agent signing that could change the course of their season. Looking ahead, Falcons fans should be optimistic but also realistic. The team is in a rebuilding phase, but they're also showing signs of competence and strategic planning. The offseason is long, and many of the pieces are still moving into place. The goal remains clear: build a strong, competitive team that can contend in the NFC South and make a real push in the playoffs. Whether that involves Kirk Cousins or not, the Atlanta Falcons are definitely not sitting still. They're constantly scouting, evaluating, and preparing for the next step. And now, Atlanta Falcons fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this entire situation? Do you think Cousins would have been the perfect fit? Or are you happy with the current plan and trusting the team's development? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Falcons. Remember, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Atlanta Falcons news. This offseason is shaping up to be one of the most intriguing in recent memory, and we'll be here every step of the way to keep you informed and engaged. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Falcons!